2 kilometers from the village of Hidden Leaf. Hold on, Kushano. I'm sorry, Minato. I can't take it anymore. He's too strong. Hokage-sama. We have to reprint the fox into one of your children, the red-haired man shouted. Okay, bring Naruto here, Minato said, holding the seal on Kushina's stomach, restraining the fox. When the child was brought, 5 members of the Uzumaki clan began to lie around the cushions. The secret technique of the Uzumaki clan is the astral seal of the blood thread. After the legend of the technique, one of the 5 Uzumaki lived with both hands on his stomach, eaten by Naruto. A few seconds later, a red thread of chakra formed between the mother and son, and then, as if the silhouette of the fox, as well as his chakras, turned into a baby. After that, all Uzumaki fell to their knees with shortness of breath. Congratulations, the fox is sealed, Uzumaki said, passing the names of the child to the food. And what about my Aiko's shifts? Kushina asked. They're fine too. What worries me now is Naruto, that everything will be obvious with him. He will become a legend of the world. He will become a shinobi who will be afraid of everything. All 5 hidden villages. He should become such a person. And we will take care of it, Minato said proudly. Exactly, the woman confirmed. She, Naruto, went to training, said the boy, very similar to Naruto. Yes, I'm going, Menma, Naruto replied, following his brother. When they went out to the backyard, Minato and Aiko were already there. So, kids, today we are going to learn how to throw kunai, Minato said. Hurrah! Menma and Aiko shouted, but Naruto just looked at his father and asked, Father, why do we need kunai? Naruto asked with innocent eyes. How why? To kill enemies, the father replied with a smile. What? But, father, why kill people? You can just talk and resolve all conflicts peacefully without shedding blood, the boy shouted. Minato frowned at these words. Naruto, in the shinobi world, if you can't kill a person, you're just a useless piece of meat. Moreover, you are the son of Hokage, and in the future each of you should become an outstanding shinobi, so as not to spoil the name of our family. Don't worry, Naruto. As soon as you realize that the world will not solve anything, you will take up the kunai, Hokage said, and then smiled again. No, I don't want to kill. I won't train, shouted Naruto, running into the house. Oh, Naruto, you still don't understand this very much. There's nothing. Soon you will become an excellent shinobi. Everything comes with age, up to 10 years old. You will be able to not only fight, but also kill, Minato said quietly, looking after his son. But how wrong he was. After all, even at the age of 9, Naruto did not even touch kunai. He was too cheerful a child. Watching this, Minato and Kushina were disappointed in Naruto. Soon the disappointment turned into hatred, and then they got tired of it, and they began to forget him. At the age of 10, Naruto has already forgotten about parental love. At the age of 11, Jiraiya came to the village, who told about the child from the prophecy. It was then that Minato and Kushina noticed how brilliant Menma was, and began to spend time only with him. But they did not forget about Aika, although they devoted less time to her. And so it went on until Naruto's 13th birthday. Over the years, rumors have spread around the village that Naruto Jinchuriki Demon Fox. After that, the residents began to avoid and dislike him. He was finally left alone, and today is Naruto's 13th birthday. It is also the 4th year that he has been celebrating this day alone. Once again, he jumped from the balcony to the front yard. Looking out the window, he saw his parents and guests having fun. After all, today is the birthday of the child, from the prophecy of his sister. They were all having fun. For what, a year without calling or even congratulating him? Well, okay, I'm having fun myself, the boy said with a smile, although there was sorrow in his voice. Then the boy began to walk around the village. To be honest, kid, I haven't met people like you yet, said a loud bass voice in my subconscious. Oh, it's you, Fox. What are you talking about? What's that about? Don't you understand? You were thrown away like a broken toy. Everyone forgot about you, even the village, for which you are holding back a monster like me, hates you, but you're still so friendly and cheerful. Anyone else in your place would have already killed themselves, but I'm not that kind of person. Moreover, Fox, it's enough for me that you don't forget about me. What? Do you think I'm worried about you? May you die. I hate you. You're my jailer. Listening to all this, Naruto did not notice how he crashed into some counter and pushed it. He fell on some shinobi. That bastard, I'll kill him, he shouted, getting to his feet. What? You fucking brat. How dare you show up in the village? Damn fox, you killed my father. Without lowering his tone, he pulled it out from under the counter. Eat. Listen, did the fox kill your father? Not me. If you kill me, then you will only give pleasure to the forest, Naruto said, raising his hands in a sign of reconciliation. Nonsense, you're just making excuses. Hey, who wants to kill a demon? He's already a disgrace to Hokage, so if we get rid of him, Hokage will even thank us. Immediately after these words, everyone gathered around the shinobi. Calm down, Naruto stuttered a little, trying to escape. Somehow running out of the crowd, he ran out of the village. The chase continued until he ran into a cliff. Those who pursued him began to surround him and push him into the cliff. However, one of the people took him by the hand and pulled him into the crowd, where he was immediately kicked. This went on for almost 5 minutes, until one of the shinobi took Naruto by the throat and approached the cliff. Naruto was still conscious. Don't please, Naruto begged, tears streaming down his cheeks. Ha, die demon, shinobi said, throwing Naruto down into the cliff. A few seconds later, Naruto disappeared into the pitch darkness. Naruto fell for about 20–30 seconds. The cliff was really deep. However, at one point Naruto lost consciousness. You brat, loser, fuck off. I wish you hadn't been born. What? You want to eat, but you'd better starve to death. Remember, you're nobody. You even breathe the same air as me. The child from the prophecy is a man. Honor, you've changed for the worse. Brother, you're useless. What? Where am? Naruto asked, opening his eyes heavily. What was that? Your memories. Well, do you still think that being kind, you can live? The fox asked in a hoarse voice. You are a nobody, apparently. To die in this hole, impaled on a pike, is your fate. What? Naruto asked out loud, looking at his stomach. What he saw was terrible. He was pierced through by a huge pike. Me? How long have I been here? It's already the second day, and as I'm still not dead, you're terribly tenacious. So what do you think? Do you accept such a death, or do you want to live? And I have a choice. Answer, the fox shouted unrealistically loudly. I want to live. Naruto shouted with all his might, letting all his emotions out. When he did, he was covered with a golden aura. He began to absorb all the souls that were in the cliff. Desperate people who wanted to end their lives often came here. There were also the corpses of animals that had lived on this planet a long time ago, devouring all the souls. He also received all the remaining life force of the people who committed suicide here, and he also took away their knowledge and power. After that, he screamed in pain, which covered every inch of his body. When the unbearable pain was over, he opened his eyes and said, "Enema of destruction." After that, a black ball appeared in his hand, which he touched to the peak, and in the same second it disintegrated into atoms. As soon as he fell to the ground, he said, "The Reich clan's blood offering technique of restoration." As soon as he said that, all of his wounds disappeared, and his hair they became color pure silver, and the eyes became dark blue. How are you little to her? The fox asked. Shut up, stupid creature, my head hurts, Naruto replied with a groan that was not subject to objection. Wow, although I like your current character and appearance, but watch your words. Or what? Will you come out of your cage and kill me? Come on, give it a try. Oh, I forgot. You can't, and you never will, Naruto said with a bit of wounding. Ha. Perfect, just perfect. Now, it will be much more interesting to watch you. I agree. Now I am controlled only by hatred. They will all pay the unknown cave. So, where am I? Naruto asked himself, looking around. Have you lost your memory? The fox said, giggling. Very funny. But seriously, how do I get out of here? There's a huge height here anyway. I don't know. It looks like you still can't walk on the walls. Try going deeper into the cave, the fox suggested. Ha, and you can not only talk shit, Naruto said, going deep into the cave. 10 minutes later, Naruto's eye was already twitching nervously. Bitch, where is the end of this tunnel? The guy yelled, hitting the wall. However, As soon as he struck, there was a sound like some kind of stone slab was moved away. Looking in the direction of the sound, he saw a new passage open, completely illuminated by torches, with a blue fruit. "What's that?" the fox asked. "What's the difference?" "The main thing is that this is no longer a solid dark tunnel," Naruto said, moving along a new passage. A few minutes later, Naruto came out into a huge hall. On the sides were several shelves with a huge number of books and scrolls. Also, in one of the corners, there was a huge pile of gold and gold products, and in the very center there was some kind of coffin, completely covered with gold. The corners were decorated with precious stones, and there was some kind of throne behind the coffin. As soon as Naruto approached the coffin, he opened it. There was some kind of a golden skeleton. His hands were folded on his chest, and under his hands was a rusty rapier. "And what kind of corpse is this? And the golden bones?" Naruto asked the fox, trying to take the rapier. "Who knows? Maybe you'll try to absorb his soul, as you did with others. You suggested an idea." You can try," Naruto said, touching the skeleton. In the blink of an eye, a soul that looked like a huge dragon emerged from the skeleton. After flying a little, the soul went to Naruto's body. As soon as it soaked into him, he covered it again in the blink of an eye. "Golden aura." Naruto screamed, falling to the ground and, starting to mock in agony, he did everything to somehow dull the pain. He tore out his hair, tore his skin. The pain was unbearable. All his bones were destroyed every second, and restored another. 5 minutes later, it was over, and Uzumaki disconnected. 2 days later, Naruto, opening his eyes, immediately got to his feet and began to examine himself. Everything he had been through in the last few days seemed like a dream. Right now, he felt that no kuna or sword would be able to scratch him. "Woke up?" a voice asked. "Yes, Fox, I feel like hell," Naruto said, not paying attention to the fact that the voice was not in the subconscious, but in reality. "Eat, Naruto. It wasn't me who said it. The fox has already said it." "What?" Naruto turned towards the voice. There he saw a man sitting on a throne. "Who are you?" Naruto asked, not at all afraid of this. "My name is Hazen, Duke Phantom. I am the 8th Lord of Souls, and I am also the King of the Blooming Garden. Naruto Namikaze, Yanshariki Demon Fox, and it seems a new one." "The Lord of Souls," muttered Naruto, coming closer. "Oh, and you are not simple. You have already managed to figure out what and how based on my knowledge that you have absorbed. But this is strange. You have to be smart. After all, you will become almost the strongest in this universe. That's what I don't like about you. That's your meaning. Cute little face. You look like a girl, even though your look shows that you are dangerous. But never mind. We'll fix it. Come to me." "Well, okay," Naruto replied, approaching the sitting man. After that, Hazen put one hand on Naruto's chest and the other on his face and poured it into him. "Your energy." After a while, he finished. "But that's better. Now you look like a true master. I'm sure a lot of women will fight because of you." Now Naruto looked like this. Hair the color of pure silver, sparkling dark blue eyes, sharp cheekbones, and a tall stature that will give him the opportunity to look down on most of his peers. "Okay, my time is running out. After all, I'm just a silhouette of a long-dead person. You have already absorbed my knowledge, but as my receiver, I will give you two subjects. This spatial ring can at least absorb a mansion into itself, and the other object is a rapier that lies in my coffin. In fact, it is a sacred artifact that selects weapons that are ideally suited to the owner. My weapon is a rapier. As soon as you pass your energy through it, it will choose a weapon for you. Okay, don't get bored." After these words, the Hyson disappeared, and in its place appeared a small black ring, although it was visible that it shimmers in red and purple, although it even looks cool, and even cool. When Naruto put on the ring, he picked it up. He went to the coffin and took the rapier. Having poured a little of his soul's energy into it, he was forced to throw it away because it began to melt. After some time, an incomprehensible black liquid began to take shape. As a result, a huge black battle axe hovers above the ground. "Wow, not bad, although it seems to me that it is somehow too big, but I think until the moment when I use it, it will be perfect," Naruto said, taking it in his hands. "And what will you call it?" The fox asked the question. I didn't think the weapon needed a name. Anyway, from now on, Your name is Yanraiha. After that, Naruto placed the axe in the ring. So, okay, but how are we going to get out? The fox demon asked. Easy, Naruto said, pulling one of the torches away. After these actions, a secret door opened, behind which there was a staircase to the top. All right, let's get out of here. As soon as Naruto pulled the torch towards him, a secret door opened in the wall not far from him. Well, let's get out of here, Naruto said, heading for the exit. Wait for her, the fox said. What is it? Don't you want to take all this wealth? After these words, Naruto looked at the mountain of gold that he had seen before. You're right, Naruto said, inspecting every item in the mountain of gold. Oh, it looks like something interesting, Naruto said, lifting the mask from the ground to the top of his face. I think that in order not to stand out too much with my changes, I will walk in it, Naruto said, examining a black mask with a red outline and a blue sign that resembled the notes of the left part of the forehead. It looks good, the fox said, watching Naruto absorb all the gold with the ring. Yeah, well, now we're definitely leaving, Naruto said, leaving the hall. 2 minutes later, oh Blaya, Naruto stretched out when he was released and saw the sky for the first time in the last week. Finally got out, said the fox. What's next? Will you come home? I think so, but first, Naruto said, biting through his finger and letting a drop of blood fall to the ground. After that, seals crawled across the ground. A few seconds later, a black liquid crawled out of the center of the seals, which began to turn into a person. And now a man with black hair is kneeling in front of Naruto. But one strand was still white and had golden eyes. What's your name? Naruto asked. My name is Lancelot, but my lord can call me anything. There's no need, Lancelot. I have a task for you. From now on, you will gather people loyal to me, people who want to join us, people who are willing to apply their loyalty to the power that you give them with this artifact. After that, Naruto handed over the eternal black seal. As soon as a person agrees to serve me, you must put a seal on him with which he will be able to absorb the souls of people, and not only. Also, with this seal, I will be able to recognize these people, and they will be able to recognize me. Do you understand everything? Yes, sir, Lancelot said, disappearing. Okay, well, now let's go home. In the village of List, Naruto was walking through the village to Kage's residence, but then some shinobi clung to him. To her people, look, the demon still survived, said the same shinobi who threw Naruto into the cliff. After these words, people began to converge near them, eager for a spectacle. At this cry, Kushana Menma and Aiko also came running. Echo, you are tenacious, said shinobi, approaching Naruto. When he came up, he held out his hand to Naruto. Okay, last time you had enough, so this time, just give all your money. At these words, Naruto just grinned and took it out of the ring. I gave some bills to this asshole. Shinobi was surprised that Naruto was grinning, but threw everything away on the fact that because of the fall, the little one just went crazy, seeing how he gives him money. Kushina, on the other hand, thought that her son was useless, and it was a pity that they did not seal the fox into the world that day. However, as soon as Shinobi took Naruto's money and moved away from him by a meter, Naruto said, explosion. After that, the paper began to smoke and sizzle. When Shinobi guessed what was going on, he was already without 4 fingers. There was a small explosion, which was enough to leave the moron without several fingers. Shinobi yelled, swinging on the ground and holding his hand, from which blood was splashing like a fountain. Ha 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 ha, suckers, shameful suckers. You can only bully the weak, Naruto shouted, walking up to him and stepping on his chest, immediately breaking several of his ribs. Ha! Install, please. Barely breathing, the shinobi grunted, writhing in pain. Stop. And when I asked you not to throw me off a cliff, did you listen to me? Remember the trash. If anyone else tries to even touch me, live in me, Naruto hissed in a sepulchral voice, after which all the residents fled to wherever, and on the street, only Naruto remained, who had already either killed or sent shinobi and Kushina Menma and Aiko into a coma, who were shocked by what Naruto had just done. Naruto looked at Kushina with empty eyes and said, "Where is Minato?" Naruto asked in the same sepulchral voice. "At work." Kushina stuttered back. After these words, Naruto headed to the residence, and his family looked at his back with one thought. It's definitely Naruto in residence. Minato and his secretary were in Hokage's office right now. They had sex completely relaxed, because they knew that no one would disturb them, because all meetings and receptions were over for today. But their pleasant business was interrupted by Naruto, who entered without a word. Knock, and Naruto shouted to Minato, putting on his pants, and his secretary just stood there and shook with fear, because she was afraid that I would tell Kushana everything. However, Naruto just looked at her with a look full of superiority and bloodlust, and in a tone that did not belong to rebirth, he said, "Get out." After that, the secretary ran away from the office in fear. Listen, Naruto, just try to say something. Shut up. I don't give a shit about your life and Kushina's life. I'm here on business, so get dressed, and then we'll talk. From such a tone and attitude to him from his own useless, kind and cowardly son, Minato fucked up not like a child. However, waking up quickly, Tony Minato dressed, sat down at his seat, and began to talk. What did you want to talk about? I want to move out of you in a separate house or apartment, and I also want you to abandon me as a blood relative, Naruto said in an absolutely calm and confident tone. What are you doing, Naruto? Only now Minato noticed how much Naruto, hair, facial contours and eyes had changed. What happened to you, Naruto? When did you change the color of your hair? She's Minato. And when was the last time I was at home? Naruto asked with a grin. And then Minato remembered that Anbu had recently told him that Naruto had not appeared in the village for more than a week. But Minato thought he was just hanging around somewhere or training. But the truth is that he didn't even notice that his son had been there for a week, like he wasn't home. And he didn't even worry about it. And where have you been? Minato asked in a trembling voice. I was dying. I was thrown into a cliff, which is located near the village. What? You? How are you? We have moved away from the topic. It's too late to pretend to care now. Parents. So about my request, about the second question, don't even hope. And about the apartment or house too. No, a delegation from Suna will arrive soon, and all available real estate is booked. So go home and talk. Trying to hide the tremor in his voice, Minato said. Naruto just turned around and went to the exit. As soon as Naruto left the residence, he wanted to go to Oshiraka because it was his favorite eatery and he was hungry. However, his neighbor in mind began to yell at him in a friendly way about the fact that supposedly all the lords or ships, they don't eat any noodles, especially in some old diner, and told him to exchange some of the gold for money and go to an elite restaurant. Okay, don't yell already, Naruto muttered discontentedly, heading to the pawnshop exchange point. Jewelry could be exchanged in this place, and rare items for money. Therefore, after exchanging several tens of kilograms of gold for 1,000,000 yen, he headed to one of the most elite establishments in the village, stopping at a store on the way and buying himself new clothes. He bought himself a black t-shirt and pants of the same color, and he also liked to save an open mantle that was very similar to Kaga's cloak, but without lights from below along the contours. It was completely white with red trim, so it also became part of his clothes. After the purchase, Naruto arrived in the central area of the village, where the dream restaurant was located. Entering it, he immediately noticed the end table, which was near the window. There was no reserved sign on it, so Naruto immediately sat down behind it. A few seconds later, a waiter approached Naruto and handed him the menu. After examining the menu, Naruto said, "Marble beef steak and white wine." "Dear visitor, steak is fine, but you're not too young for wine, I'm afraid." Before the waiter could finish, he had 5,000 yen in his hands. "I understand. Your order will be ready in 5 minutes," the waiter said, moving away from the table. 4 minutes have passed. All this time, Naruto sat silently waiting for his order. However, something happened that he definitely did not expect. The waiters and 4 other people approached him. "Dear guest, do you mind if these people join you? Because all the other tables are booked." Naruto only nodded at his request. After that, 2 blondes sat down at his table, one adult, the other his age, and 2 guys about the same height as Naruto himself. "Sorry for the inconvenience," the woman apologized. "My name is Karura, and these are my children. This is my son Gara, this is my daughter Timari, and this is my second son. We came to this village as a pre-delegation in order to clarify all the details before the arrival of the main delegation from Suna. The woman said, to her words, Naruto, after examining them, said, does Suna really trust our village so much that she sent their Kage's wife and children here, especially one of them? Jinchuriki, Naruto said, looking at Gaara. After these words, everyone tensed up, and especially Gaara. However, they did not have time to do anything, as Naruto brought his order. Please calm down. I would not like to see our dear guests kicked out of such an institution, because they disturbed the peace of other visitors, Naruto said, wiping all the food utensils with a napkin. However, if he knew what he had sown in the minds of the people he had just talked to, what kind of nonsense! How a child like him could be so knowledgeable, and why he was so calm. Kurura mused. He's dangerous. He's definitely dangerous, Gaara and Kankura thought. At first, he seemed to me an incredibly handsome guy, but now I'm afraid if he spreads rumors that Gaara Jinchuriki will not be good. Kimara, how do you know that? Kurura asked. I'll say it again. Calm down. About the fact that you are a Kazakage family, and you are in the village. Only the lazy one does not know anymore. And as for the Jinchuriki, I am also one. After these words, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. So you're Hokage's son? Kurora asked. You see, you are also capable of determining a person's identity, knowing only a fraction of the information about him, Naruto said, pouring himself wine. Hey, aren't you too small for wine? Kurura asked, trying to take the wine from Naruto. It's none of your business for this dish. This particular drink is perfect. Try it yourself, and you will understand, Naruto said. Oh, you little one. Okay, you're right. It's none of our business. However, why aren't your parents watching what you're doing? Kurura asked, ordering herself the same as Naruto, and she ordered her children fried fish, which they never ate because of the climate in their village. Kurura-san, dig deeper into the information about me and find out everything, Naruto said lazily. You're a Jinchuriki, aren't you? But what kind of Biju, and why does it not affect your consciousness? I asked Gaara because he sealed Biju in you. Very stupid people who managed to put a seal on your consciousness and not in this. My Biju is a nine-tailed one. How do you even know that? Kurura asked. Not only do I know this, I also know how to reprint it, and so that it can never harm yours again, your son. After these words, tears flowed from Kurura's eyes. Can you really help my son? Kurura asked, wanting to hug Naruto. However, Naruto just put the fork in front of him, saying that not a step more. I warn you, never enter my zone. Comfort, Naruto said firmly, watching as Kurura sits down. So can you really do it? And when Kurura continued to interview the guy, gradually calming down, as soon as I finish my meal, Naruto finished the dialogue. After that, they ate in silence. At 8:30 p.m., Polygon 31, Gaara stood in the center of the clearing, around which several barriers created by Naruto were imposed. Not far from them stood Kurura, Temari, and Kankura. I'm getting started. It might be a little unpleasant, Naruto said, cutting the course. We stick our finger and draw a lot of unknown seals first on the ground around Gaara, and then one seal on top of the one that was on his forehead. The art of spiritual blood is the last style of space split, Naruto said, after which the seal on Gaara's head shattered into small pieces, and a huge soul flew out of the void, the outlines of which were similar to Shukaku, after which Naruto put his hand to Gaara's stomach and left a seal. Thereafter that the soul was sucked into the seal by a funnel. That's it. I retyped his creation, but his chakra came. I had to leave it there because it is directly connected with your consciousness and therefore always protected you when you felt danger, Naruto said, removing the barriers. But now the demon will not interfere with my sleep, tormenting me with nightmares, asked Gaara hopefully. No, the chakra itself is not capable of such a thing, answered Naruto's question. Thank you, Gaara shouted to the departing Naruto. Before Naruto could answer, Kurura hugged him. I warned me, didn't I? Naruto did not have time to finish, as he was pressed even harder to himself. Thank you. You are an amazing child. I will never forget this, Kurura said, letting go of Naruto, and running up to Gaara and hugging him. I'm sick of this picture. Okay, I'm going home, Naruto said, disappearing. He appeared near his house. When he entered the house, he saw Minato standing at the entrance to the kitchen. "Why are you so late?" he asked. "It was only 9 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes I didn't spend the night at home." "But surely you didn't notice," Naruto said, taking off his shoes. "Come into the kitchen," Minato said as he left. Naruto just shrugged at that. When he entered the kitchen, Minato, Kushina, Menma, and Aiko were already sitting at the table. They were all sitting, which Naruto noticed. They also noticed that there was no chair for him, and decided to ask about it. "And there was no chair for me. Wait," he answered rudely. These words really enraged Naruto, and he decided to teach them a lesson. The fact is that they were sitting on both sides of the table, and one side was designed for Naruto to stand. However, Naruto, coming closer, sits down on the space. This surprised everyone very much. But how did they get fucked up when a golden throne was formed under Naruto? Each of them suddenly had their jaws on the floor, while Naruto crossed his legs and looked at them as if they were bugs in front of a deity. "And Naruto, what is this?" Kushina asked with genuine shock. "This is my humble high chair. What do you want?" Naruto asked coldly. "Where have you been for a whole week? And why did you ask me about this today?" Changing the subject, Minato asked. Let me ask you a question. When exactly did I disappear?" Naruto asked, grinning somewhere in his subconscious. "Anbu said that about a week ago," Kushina replied. "That is, Anbu? And when you yourself noticed that I was not there, he drove everyone into dead end with this question. So they just fell silent. So sweet. This is too hard a question for people like you. Let's take it easy," Naruto said, taking off his outer clothes. From what he saw, Yuminat and the Eaten Heart almost stopped, Minma almost fainted, and Aika shed tears. Naruto's entire body was scarred from cuts, and there was a huge scar in the center of his chest from being pierced by a pike. "So, question number 2. When did I start to have these scars?" he asked in a tone that seemed to mock them. "And where did these scars come from?" Minato, who had seen a lot, stammered. He himself had several scars that appeared to him over the years of battles. However, his son has already experienced this in his years. "Answer." Unable to stand the silence, shouted Naruto. From this cry, everyone started. However, no one answered. "So, the conclusion," Naruto continued, putting on his clothes. "You don't care about me. You're not interested in me. I'm like a stranger to you. Therefore, I decided that you would not share food and a house with such a foreign nonentity as me. I decided to move out. And in order for your great Hokage family not to be disgraced by such trash like me, I decided that it would be better for you to abandon me as a son." With every word Naruto said, it was as if he was cutting their souls without. Kushina could no longer hear these words without tears. "So if that's it, then I'll go," Naruto said, removing the throne and going to his room. As soon as Naruto left the kitchen, he headed to his room. After going to his room, he immediately collapsed on the bed. "What a pain in the ass day," Naruto muttered softly. "And don't tell me," said the fox. "Oh, listen, fox, what's your name?" Naruto asked. "Why do you need to know the demon's name?" The fox asked in response. "A demon is not a demon, but as strange as it may sound, for these years, you are the only one. No one, despite hating me, gave me advice, and generally maintained communication with me." "Oh, the little one confused me. My name is Kurama," said the fox. Kurama was surprised by the guy. "Well, yes, but what is such a beautiful name for me?" "I'm afraid I won't remember the heavy name until tomorrow," Naruto replied with a sneer. "Just try to forget him. I'll tear your head off," Kurama said. "Come on, I was just kidding." "Okay, sleep." Hunting, Naruto said, slowly falling asleep. Morning 7.00. Minato met the delegation from Suna near the village gate, and now a crowd of about 20 people was approaching the village. "Kazakage-sama, welcome to Kanaha," Minato said, extending his hand for a handshake. "Hello, Minato-san," Kazakage said, shaking hands in return. Minato then looked at the rest of the delegation. Behind Kazakage was his wife and children, and even further away were some elders and heads of the Suna clans. "First of all, let's go to my office to discuss the contract, and then you and your Kazakage-san family are invited to dinner at our house," Minato said as he walked through the village. At this time, Kushina was preparing various dishes, thinking about yesterday's conversation. Flashbacks from the past appeared before her eyes. She remembered the night she gave birth to her children and the words that Minato said. She supported him. After that, she remembered the times when she began to avoid Naruto through pain. She knew what it was like to be a weak Jinchurike, and she didn't want her son to experience it too. So she wanted him to be strong, but Naruto's uselessness soon replaced her experience with hatred for him. She thought that if she forgot him, then she wouldn't feel all the pain he would endure. Her situation with Naruto worsened when the damned Jiraiya told them a prophecy about a child who would save the world. After that, she and Minato completely forgot about him. He stopped appearing in their family photos and holidays. She doesn't even remember the last time he celebrated his birthday. However, when she saw yesterday how he brutally killed a shinobi who wanted to harm him, she was incredibly happy, because she felt a sense of revenge that her son brought to this village because of her too. She thought he was secretly training to please them. She thought that at least Naruto would not feel the pain that she suffered at his age now, even though she had Minata and Grandma Mita. However, when she saw what he went through in his years, and without any support, she was horrified. He had suffered so much and could not even come to someone and say that he was in pain. He had no one. He took it all out on his own, and she didn't even know about it. After Naruto's words said yesterday, she cried half the night in her room after Minata left for work. She wanted to go to her son's room, hug him, and beg for forgiveness, but she understood that it was too late. His look and words yesterday showed that he no longer needed them. So she decided that she would just watch him, and watch him reach the top, just like she wanted. During these reflections, she did not notice that the Kazakage family was coming soon, so she quickly ran to the second floor to wake up the children and put them in order, and herself too. After waking Menma and Aiko, she stood in front of Naruto's door, quietly knocking on the door. She began to wait for an answer, but it did not come, so she decided to enter. Opening the door a little, she looked into the room, then she went into it at all. When she saw Naruto sleeping on the bed, she went up to him and wanted to touch him in order to wake him up. However, before he could touch it, a katana appeared in Naruto's hand in an instant, which passed near Kushina's head in less than a second, cutting off several hairs. Looking at Naruto's pale Kushina, he asked in a sepulchral voice, "What are you doing?" "Yeah, I just came to wake you up. That's why you almost killed me," Kushina replied, watching Naruto remove the katana. And then she was sucked into some kind of ring. No one had entered this room for several years, so it was unexpected. Naruto explained his actions. "But I came." "Then get up. The Kazakage family will come to visit us soon," Kushina said. No, 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 but whatever. Their family came to me yesterday, and so much trouble." She added that today I will leave this room only to drink or eat, and I don't think they'll be interested in me, Naruto said, going back to bed. Kushina was surprised at his words, but still decided to leave him, and went to the shower. 30 minutes later, the whole house rang the bell. The Kazakage family and Minato stood at the door to the mansion until Kushina opened the door for them. "Hello, Kazakage-sama and his family. Come into the house and feel at home," Kushina said, escorting them to the living room, where Menma and Aiko were already sitting at the table. The two families sat down opposite each other. However, the attention of Kurama and Temari was attracted by a single empty place. "And where is your second son, Naruto?" Gaara asked. "And so you are familiar with Naruto?" Minato asked a rhetorical question. "But according to the story of my wife, your son Naruto is a hero for my family. I would like to see him personally and thank him," Kazakage said. "Sorry, Kazakage himself, but Naruto refused to attend today's dinner," Hokage's wife replied. "Clearly," said Gaara and Temari, who really wanted to see him again. "Oh, and I thought he was going to be my first friend. Yesterday, after he reprinted Odnavostovo, I felt a pleasant warmth and calm. What a pity, thought Yanshariki Odnavostovo, but why isn't there one? I really wanted to see him again. He is so handsome and strong. Perhaps he would agree to walk with me," reflected Gaara's sister. After that, they began the meal. After 20 minutes, a sleepy Naruto came into the hallway. Without noticing anyone, he reached into the refrigerator and took out cold water putting it to his head. He honored the guests with his attention. Everyone in the room, except Naruto, was shocked by this kind of indifference. And dear, get acquainted. This is Naruto Namikaze. It was he who yesterday reprinted the tailed one from the mind in the Skavgara, said Kazakagi's wife, pointing at Naruto. What? Minato, Kushano, and my Aiko shouted. Naruto yelled, grabbing his head in response. Everyone was surprised at this, except Korora, who understood what was going on. Yeah, and I said that drinking wine at that age wouldn't do you any good, especially since you drank the whole bottle. Korora said. Yes, don't yell all of you. God, my head hurts. Naruto hissed, sitting down in his seat, drinking water from the refrigerator. When he sat down, he immediately looked at Gaara. How are you? Naruto asked. Very good. I had a good night's sleep for the first time in many years. Thank you very much for that, Gaara replied. So you're the same Naruto, about whom all my ears have been hammered, my family. Nice to meet you, Rasa said. Mutually, do you want something? Naruto asked. Yes, I wanted to thank you for helping my son. Ask for anything. I will do everything I can, Rasa replied. No, that you are Kazakage herself. I'm sure Naruto did it just like that. Minato didn't have time to finish, as Naruto interrupted him. Shut up, Minato. You haven't done anything to take my reward away from me right now, Naruto answered rudely, which shocked not only the Hokage family, but also Kazakage. So, what can you give me? Naruto asked. Do you have something you want? Rasa asked. Well, there's a little business here, but I'll tell you it in private. Okay, I'm off, Naruto said, leaving the living room. After Naruto left the living room, he slept the whole day, recovering from a hangover. Getting up at 4 in the morning, he realized that if he slept, his head would shatter into small pieces for another minute, and went down to the kitchen. To his surprise, Minato and Kushina were already sitting in the kitchen. Okay, I slept all day, and that's why I got up so early. Aren't you sleeping? Naruto asked, taking a bottle of cold juice from the refrigerator and sitting down at the table with Minato and Kushina. Yesterday, after discussing the cases, we also allowed ourselves some drinks, Minato replied. Sipping coffee? Naruto, how do you understand what Karura said? Did you really drink the day before yesterday? Kushina asked. So what? And who gave you permission? Exceeding the tone, Kushina asked. First of all, keep your voice down, and secondly, who forbade it? Naruto replied, thereby closing Kushini's mouth. That's enough. What is more important now is what Kazakage said. How did you manage to restart the tailed one? Minato asked. Don't think wrong, Minato. You just got dealt, so to speak. I did this because in the future, I will also need the support of the Suna, and you just happened to benefit from it, Naruto replied. But where did you get this power from? Kushina asked. This power was given to me by a man who didn't care that I was useless. He didn't care that I was a Jinchuriki, because this man is much stronger than this. Embellishing the story a little, but telling the truth, Naruto replied. And how strong are you now? Minato asked incredulously. Do you want to check it out? Naruto asked, releasing a little of his aura. Because of this, some space around him began to crack. From such pressure, bitten a little dizzy, and Minato just looked at it, slightly stretching his lips into a grin. Seeing this, Naruto stopped his performance. Then he sat down and waited for Minato's question. What do you want? Naruto asked. What do you plan to do with this power? Minato asked. Do you have any ideas? He answered Uzumaki's question with a question. You have to graduate from the academy. After you go to Anbu and serve me for at least 2 years. And after you become a Jonin, you will be able to claim the opinion of Hokage, Minato said, smiling happily and imagining all this. Finish the academy. Go to Anbu too. Do your dirty work. And then become a Hokage and protect to live, a village that I would gladly wipe off the face of the earth if I didn't need it. Minato, your words are in the devil's ears. Do you even understand what you're offering me now after what I've been through? Naru was angry. But you have to. I don't fucking have to. You two don't even deserve my attention. You served, and you also tell me what to do. You two are totally fucked up. I had one foot in the grave before, you know how many times. And while I was bleeding to death, you were drinking tea in the warmth and comfort of home, celebrating the birthday of Menma and Aiku, while I was getting scars from waiting, and cuts, and all because I am Jinchuriki, creatures who just wanted to live freely. If enemy shinobi, let's say, took you prisoner and pumped your chakra out of you, you would, if possible, just sit still, protect people who so hypocritical and take on so much. Only killing sins, humiliating, mocking people like them is normal. And what do you say when you make a mistake or get into a situation where you are on the verge of death? The devil has possessed me, or why doesn't God love us? Blaming the devil and God for your stupidity is not idiocy. Do you know what my strength is? I absorb the souls of dead people, taking their power and memories. And you know what? Having already absorbed several dozen souls, I have not met a single soul at least a little bit spoiled by this world, shouted Naruto, hitting the wall with his fist, destroying 30% of the house. And the evil one headed out of the house. Coming out of the kitchen, he noticed Minmo and Aiko sitting under the door. As soon as he left the house, Minmo and Aiko went into the kitchen and looked at the huge hole that Naruto had made. Minato and Kushina just sat and stared at one point, pondering Naruto's words. Mom, Dad, Menma asked after looking at them. Only now have the underparents paid attention to their children. How much have you heard? Minato asked. That's it, Aiko replied. And what do you think? Kushina asked. We have to give it up. I'm afraid of Naruto, Menma said. No, no way. It's our fault for what they did to us. Mom, you are also a Jinchuriki. You should understand what it's like to be unloved, shouted Aiko, remembering all those scars. Naruto, Aiko is right. Menma, Minato said. We should at least try to regain his trust. Evening of the same day, Naruto returned home and saw how the house was completely restored. I destroyed quite a lot, but they rebuilt it in just a few hours. Naruto thought. Entering the house, he went to the kitchen, where his Ned family was sitting. As he walked into the kitchen, he caught 4 pairs of eyes looking at him. They wanted to ask something, but Naruto just took out a bag of money and threw it on the table. What is it? Minato asked. There's 100,000 yen here for the damage I did. Naruto replied. Take this money. I won't accept it. Minato said. Take it in a good way. I'm not going to be in debt to you. Naruto rudely replied. Okay, I can't ask where you got this money from. I won't. And now the question is, what are you doing tomorrow? Minato asked. I don't have any plans right now. But what if there is something interesting? You haven't been to the academy in months. Don't you want to come to the last month of training tomorrow and become a shinobi? Either he asked or Minato suggested. Okay, since I have nothing to do anyway, I'll go. But on one condition, I will wear this mask. Naruto gave out the condition, taking the mask out of the ring. Okay, Minato. After that, Naruto went to sleep. Morning 9.00. Kushina stood under Naruto's door and recalled the time when she had already tried to wake him up. It wasn't, Kushina said, walking into Naruto's room. Entering it, she saw Naruto standing in his pants. He himself was very sweaty, and steam was coming from him. He looked at her with a stern look. From this view, she felt a heat all over her body, and also this smell. However, Naruto pulled her out of her thoughts. What do you want, Kushina? Naruto asked, putting on a t-shirt. He put on a t-shirt that revealed a view of his torso. Ah, I came to wake you up at the academy. It's time, Kushina said with a slight stutter. Oh, right. Okay, I'm going out now, Naruto replied. After that, Kushina abruptly slammed the door and left. Naruto didn't pay attention to it. After changing, he left the room and headed downstairs. In the kitchen there was Kushina, who was clearing the plates from the table. Where are the others? The Soul Lord asked. Minato is at work. Minmaiko is already at the academy, answered Kushin's question. Are you going to eat something? No, pour me some coffee, Naruto said. Okay, Kushina said, starting to pour herself and Naruto a cup of coffee. Then she put the coffee in front of him, and she sat down opposite him. Naruto just nodded and took a sip of coffee. Kushina looked at him. Remembering what she saw today, Naruto noticed it right away, but he didn't care. But after a few tens of seconds, he got tired of, what do you want? Naruto asked a little irritably. Ah, I muttered Kushina in confusion. Yes, it's nothing. Then don't look at me like that. It really pisses me off, Naruto said, finishing his coffee. Okay, I'm off. After Naruto, wearing sandals, headed to the academy. When he arrived at the academy, he entered the classroom, and under many stares, he sat down at the last desk. After thinking for a while, he began to look at his classmates. After looking around them a bit, he immediately saw familiar faces. Aiko communicates with friends, a mentor. However, he sometimes looks at some girl, Naruto thought, looking at relatives. Oh, that's right, it's Uchiha Sasuke. This girl thinks that if you are of noble blood, or a descendant of some clan, you can't be weak. She despises clanless. But to clan relations, it's because she's the strongest in this stream of students. So she can't believe that clan children like her are so weak. The only people she communicates with are Menma and Aiko. She thinks that if Menma is the child from the prophecy, then he will become very strong anyway. Aiko is a girl who is not much weaker than her. She hates me with all her heart because I, born in the Hokage family, am a nonentity. In short, a class of people who either hate me or don't pay attention. The cry and the hands of our teacher brought me out of my thoughts. The lesson began. So the days and weeks passed. And so a month passed, and the release came a month later. Morning. Mom, I want another pie, Naruto said, hugging Kushana and holding out a plate. Naruto, wait for the guests. You can't eat the whole pie alone, Kushina refused. Okay, then I'll go to the yard, Naruto happily replied, running out into the street. Naruto, wait for her. We need to get dressed before the guests come, Kushina said, running out after him. However, as soon as she ran out the door, she saw some other person looking at her. It wasn't her little son. He seemed to be older, and his look said that if she approached, she would die. Then he turned around and began to move away from her, going into the void. And no, Naruto, wait, Kushina shouted, holding out her hand to her son, who was leaving. But she couldn't take a step herself. Naruto, Kushina shouted, waking up and breathing heavily. It was a dream, Kushina said softly, calming herself. After that, she took a cold shower, and after getting dressed, went down to the kitchen and started cooking breakfast. How many similar dreams have I had in the last month? Am I really that worried that he's changed so much? We decided to regain his trust more than a month ago, but in all that time, he didn't even give us a chance. His feelings for us do not give a single hope. And why such a thing began to bother me right now, involuntarily, Kushina thought. Behind her thoughts, the woman did not even notice how she cooked the food. When she went upstairs, she woke up Aiko and Menma, and, stopping in front of Naruto's door, she thought for a while, but still went in. However, there was no one in the room. Again, he didn't spend the night at home. Lekushina closing the door. An unknown place is a desert. A huge explosion shook the earth and spread for many kilometers. A giant nine-tailed fox was fighting off the guy's blows at high speed. Heavenly flame slash, shouted the guy, cutting the counties. A huge bomb is tailed in the air with its axe of quite large size. A huge half-disk of pure golden energy did not stop at the cut bomb and headed for the tailed one. However, the fox just bounced off, and the half-disk cut the ground for many kilometers and also caused a big explosion. I think that's enough for today, said the fox, sitting down on the ground and breathing heavily. Are you exhausted already, Kurama? Naruto asked. Yeah, it's been a while since I fought like this. Still, this space that you have created allows you to come off to the fullest, Kurama replied. Okay, just for today. That's it today. Then please let's get out of here, Naruto said, transferring them to his subconscious. Okay, go to the academy. Good luck, said the fox already from the subconscious. And have a nice sleep, Naruto replied, coming out of his subconscious. Then he went to the academy. During this month, Naruto has grown a lot, not only physically, but also spiritually. Now he is quite tall for his height, and his strength far exceeds all the tailed ones. His hair reached to his shoulders, and was the color of pure silver. All this time, he was wearing a mask on the upper part of his face, which he found in a pile of gold in a cliff. Also, at the academy, he showed almost no ability. And now the day of distribution by teams has come. Entering the academy, Naruto, as always, sat down at his desk and waited for the arrival and hands. After 5 minutes, the hand also entered the classroom and began its fiery regulation. It's about the wall of fire, about how he will miss us all. After that, He began to announce the teams. Some were happy with the composition of the teams, and some protested as they wanted to be in a team with friends. But Iruka simply said that he was not responsible for the composition of the teams and continued to read out. Naruto just listened to most of the commands. I heard only my team and the team of his sister and brother. Team Grid 7, Namikaze Menma, Namikaze Aiko, and Sasuke Uchiha, Mentor Kashina Namikaze. Team Grid 8, Naruto Namikaze, Uzumaki, and N. Irene. Necron, the mentor of Hitaki Kakashi, Uzumaki and N. Irene Necron, did not seem to have heard of such in our stream. Really homeschooled, Naruto thought. After Iruka finished, he said goodbye, saying that the mentors would come in an hour. Without wasting any time, Naruto immediately headed to the residence. 10 minutes later, after knocking on the door, Naruto, after waiting for an answer, came in. Minato, looking at Naruto, was a little surprised. Naruto, do you need something? Minato asked, inviting Naruto to sit down. At his suggestion, Naruto raises his hand as a sign that he has opened it. Ryanacrons, Uzumaki, and En. Who are they? Naruto asked. I was expecting you to ask, so I prepared this in advance, Minato said, holding out two envelopes with information. Ryanacron is 13 years old, clanless physical training below average, throwing weapons. Above average, the chakra reserve is small. Uzumaki and En, 12 years old. The Uzumaki clan. Status fourth son of the head of the Fist clan. Above average weapon throwing training. Inconceivably low chakra reserve is high. What kind of a joke is this? Naruto asked with a snort. I'm sorry, what I did is done, Minato replied with a slight smirk. At this, Naruto just turned around and walked out. As soon as Naruto left the residence, he returned to the academy. When he entered the classroom, he saw that several teams had already been taken away. Sitting down at his seat, he began to wait for Kakashi, gradually falling asleep. An hour later, Naruto woke up from the fact that a kunai was thrown at him. However, he caught it with 2 fingers and threw it at the sender. Kunai slightly cut the cheek of the red-haired guy. Whoa, take it easy, bro, he said when Naruto was behind him with incredible speed and put kunai to his neck. At his words, Naruto took the kunai and walked away, sitting back in his seat. So, you, Uzumaki in Rhinocrons, said Naruto, examining them. And En looks like an ordinary naive fool, dressed all in red. His hair is a little lighter than the rest of the Uzumaki, but most likely a half-breed. Aurea looks like a very smart and calm girl. Her short white hair perfectly accentuates her figure. And white clothes, thought Uzumaki on Mikasi. My name is Ria Necron. I have grown up in an ordinary family, but always fond of the art of shinobi. After discovering the Chiga chakra, I began to study martial techniques, she said in a calm and sweet voice. Now I am. My name is Uzumaki In. I'm a little younger than you, so I hope that you will take care of me. I have a cheerful character, but I am not as brilliant and strong as most of the children of my clan. But I still dream of becoming the head of the clan, he said, smiling. In short, a typical Naruto character from the canon. My name is Naruto Namikaze, I replied, after which we pulled in. Kakashi began to wait in silence. An hour later, there was a knock on the door. Kakashi came into the classroom. Sorry I'm late. A black cat ran across the road. Had to go around, he said with a nice smile. Judging by how late you are, the cat ran not across the road, but across the country. Naruto replied. Witty kid. Okay, go up to the roof. We'll talk there, he said, moving with Shunshin after 1 minute. So, my name is Hitaki Kakashi. I am the Jonin of the Hidden Leaf Village. What I love, you will not be interested. But my hobbies are with you, too boring. Then you, he pointed at Ina. My name is I.N. My dream is to become the head of my clan. The goal is to surpass the first brother. I like to fight without rules, and also learn new techniques. I don't like being beaten in something. Okay, now you, said Kakasha, after listening to Ina, and showed Nareya. My name is Ria Necron. My dream is unlimited knowledge in various fields, especially in the skill of shinobi. I love ice cream. I don't like what I don't understand. Interestingly, now you've shown Kakashi to Naruto. Naruto Namikaze, all you need to know about me is that I am the strongest. I also like white wine. I don't like people who infuriate. It seemed to me that the first two were strange. and I thought that this kid remained the same as the last time I saw him on his 6th birthday. Kind and cheerful. But it looks like Hokage wasn't lying. He really had changed, Jonin mused. Okay, then let's not delay. Tomorrow near the Hokage residence at 9. You will have your first mission. Morning 9.00. Naruto was approaching the residence, in front of the entrance. In Rei Kakashi stood in it. Morning, Naruto, said In Ivan, he replied. After entering the residence, they went to Hokage's office. When they knocked on the door, they heard, "Come in." When they entered the office, they saw a pile of papers and Hokage. "Hokage-sama, we came for a mission," Kakashi said. "Oh, yes? Your first mission is to catch a cat that has escaped from an animal house," Minato said, until he noticed that Naruto was looking at the ceiling. "Come out," Naruto said. At this time, a blue seal lit up on his hand. At the same moment, a guy in a raven mask appeared in front of him. "Raven, who gave you permission to leave the shelter?" Minato asked sternly. "I'm sorry, Hokage-sama, but your son," the guy mumbled, and on his hand lit up exactly the same seal as Naruto, but much smaller and dimmer. "Enough, come out and we'll talk," Naruto said, walking out the door. "Wait, Naruto, what about the mission?" In asked, looking after his teammate. "Divide my share among yourselves," he replied, leaving and leading the raven. "Eat." "Hokage-sama, are you sure that what your son is doing is normal?" asked Kakashi. "I can't be surprised by his changes anymore, so I just turn a blind eye to it until it goes beyond the scope." Exhaling, Minato replied. "Meanwhile, in Kanohi Park, you can take off the mask in front of me," Naruto said, sitting on a bench. "Okay," the guy replied, taking off his mask. "So Itachi has a sneeze. I even wonder how you decided to become my servant. Has Lancelot done something for you?" Naruto asked. "Yes, you're right," Itachi replied, sitting down next to Naruto. "A little over a month ago, my clan began to develop a plan to seize the power of Konoha, and I, as the heir of the clan, was forced to steal information from the secret vaults of Konoha. At the same time, Danza, as one of the elders, found out about it and ordered me to cut it out. The clan itself, or it will force the root." At that moment, I was plunged into despair. And then Lancelot appeared. He showed himself as something that has great power, and he offered me help in return. I had to swear allegiance to the king, but I never expected that the king would be 13. A 16-year-old guy, especially Hokage's son, finished Itachi, looking at Naruto. "Don't judge a book by its cover. By the way, have you awakened the soul energy yet?" the blond man asked. "Oh, Lancelot talked about it, but I still didn't figure out how to wake her up." Hesitating, Itachi replied. "I see," Naruto said, touching Itachi's forehead with 2 fingers. In the next moment, knowledge unknown to this world entered Itachi's head. "Now you can be free." "Yes," Itachi replied, disappearing. As he was about to leave, Naruto heard his name being called. "Her Naruto!" shouted In. "What happened?" Naruto asked. "Hokage urgently calls us," said In, taking Naruto by the hand and pulling him along. "What kind of impertinence?" Naruto whispered, simply teleporting himself, and nodded to Hokage's office. Kakashi and Ria were already standing there. "You have an urgent task to rescue the 7th team," Minato said. "The author, someone's not in the mood to write parts at all. I don't know if I write well. Let's make some joke in the comments." "Beta, I understand you, but your chapters still come out quite often. Unlike me." Location: the moon, Tunnery Castle. A guy dressed all in white was walking down the corridor. Arriving at a huge door, he opened it. The door opened with a creak that echoed, going further into the pitch darkness, already in the next one. In the next second, torches lit up the room, which burned with golden fire. In the middle of the huge room was a luxurious bed. "She's busy. Wake up," Tunnery said, walking up to the bed. "Oh, my dear brother Tunnery, did you really not restrain yourself, and came to taste my mature and excellent?" A body, a woman with red hair and the same color eyes, said in a whisper, getting out from under the blanket. "Shut up, old woman," Tunnery said, throwing clothes on the bed, because the girl was completely naked. "Ah, how rude! Even though I have been living for several thousand years on my body, the body is no worse than some 20-year-old," Della replied, putting on clothes. This is not the time for nonsense. I feel like a huge force is being born on Earth, Tonnery said a little excitedly. Oh, so you felt it too. Yes, it is. There is a new master of souls. When I remember my service to each lord, goosebumps are similar, especially from the way I served Mr. Kazin. It's decided. I have to make sure for myself that the future lord will be worthy of his title. And the call of the other seven, shouted Della. Not Ari, in the sense of the other seven, Tonnery asked. Well, basically, there are 9 of us. The 9 guardians of the throne lord, as I understand it, he has already called Lancelot. Then he had to summon me and the other keepers. But not the point. Collecting my things, it's time to visit him. Narutoria and and Kakashi were flying on some creature unknown to this world. It looked like a huge bison with a beaver tail, which the creature seemed to be able to fly with, flapping it like a wing. Naruto, what kind of creature is this? In shouted, clutching at the white wool. Calm down and get ready. We're already there, Naruto calmly said, lightly patting the creature on the head, letting it know that it's time to land. Instantly, the creature understood the order and landed in a clearing near the river. When they got off it, it immediately disappeared. The surrounding Sasuke men Mako are quite wounded, and the exhausted Kushina Zabuza stood in disbelief. Team 8. What are you doing here? Kushina asked. You asked for help. Hokage sent us, Kakashi replied, adjusting the protector of his village out of habit. Great. Naruto and the others protect Tazona. And you, Kakashi, help me with Zabuza, Kushina said. Haha, pathetic Kanahi shinobi. You can't even handle me. At least you know what kind of demons live in this world. What are you talking about? Sasuke screamed, rushing at Zabuza. Back up, Kushina screamed, but it was too late. Zabuza threw his sword at the speed of Sasuke's sounds. However, in an instant, Naruto appeared in front of her and grabbed the sword with 2 fingers, cutting space with a sword, infusing soul energy into it. And you're not bad, Naruto said. What the? Do you also serve the Overlord? Zabuza asked. Let's do this. Now we're going to fight. And if you stand up to me for a minute, I'll tell you everything, Naruto said. What the? Don't show off, Naruto, Menma yelled. And Vizenrika, Naruto said, stretching his hand up. At the same moment, a magic seal appeared above him, from which a huge battle axe began to appear. Attack, Naruto said, throwing a sword behind Buse. All right, step back, kids, Zabuza said as he passed by Kushins and Kakashi. Naruto, be careful, Kushina shouted, retreating to the children with Kakashi, moving away to a safe distance. They began to watch the fight. What does this loser think of himself? Doesn't he know who Zabuza is? Sasuke was freaking out in the shower. Let's see how you do, brother, Menma thought, chuckling. He wouldn't be able to defeat the Mist Swordsman, no matter what tricks he used. Aiko, go ahead, Naruto said. Immediately, he and Zabuza disappeared in a blue-golden lightning, and 20 by 20 cracks appeared in the place where they were standing on the ground. Meters. They never set foot on Earth again. Being in the air, they pushed weapons, cutting them with space and massively cutting down forests. Those watching saw 2 lightning bolts collide, time after time, leaving behind only destruction. Once again, beating off the blow of the people, Zabuza stopped and, raising his sword above his head, shouted, the phantom sword. At the same moment, another sword appeared next to him, completely blue in color, not inferior in size to Reboki cubes. Sorry, kid, but I won, Zabuza said, already anticipating his victory. Are you sure? Grinning, Naruto asked. 100% this is my strongest technique, the swordsman replied. Ha! He grinned at Mikasi, raising one hand and shouting 10,000 astral swords. Immediately after these words, around Naruto began to appear translucent swords. Every second there were more and more of them. But at one point, Zabuza noticed that the whole sky was filled with swords, and they were all aimed at him. Seeing this picture, Aiko, Kushina, and Rei could not stand on their feet and fell to their knees, looking at this show. Smart on Kakashi, and she had a cold sweat all over her body, and Sasuke just looked at it with empty eyes. It can't be. That's not true. It's all an illusion. I don't believe in that. How this loser became such a monster. I don't believe, flashed through Sasuke's thoughts. I admit defeat, my lord, said Zabuza, descending to the ground and settling on one knee in the house of Tazuna. Team 7-8, Tazuna, his daughter Tsunami and grandson and Nari, sitting at the table, looked with a little shock at how one of the 7 mist swordsmen, nicknamed the Demon, Osiv on one knee, apologizes to Genin for not recognizing him as the Lord. Okay, that's enough, Naruto said, sitting down on the sofa. Yes, my lord, Zabuza said, getting to his feet. Who said that you can get up? Specified on the me case. Sorry, Zabuza replied, sitting back down on one knee. The situation, Naruto said briefly. The tycoon of these lands, Gata, sent me to kill the builder of Tazuna, the swordsman replied, immediately realizing what Naruto wanted to hear. Clearly, tell your partner not to hide. Also go to this gat and tell him to retreat. If you do not agree, I allow you to pull out your arms and legs. I forbid you to kill. From these words and the cruelty of the people, some listeners of the dialogue were shocked. I'm listening, Zabuza said as he left the house. Who are you? Tazuna asked haltingly. It's none of your business, the blond man replied. Why is it that one of the strongest Nukanins calls you the Lord? Answer me, Menma yelled at Naruto. Menma, stop it. I tried to calm Aiko's brother. Listen here, Milyuzga, Naruto began, crossing his legs and putting one hand on the back of the sofa. As long as you don't belong to my servants, it's none of your business. Remember already, Namikaze Naruto died at the hands of people he wanted to protect, and in his place came the Lord of Souls Naruto. I admit, I used to be devoted to you and loved you as a family, but those times have passed, and you have destroyed them yourself. Saying these words, Naruto took out a cigarette and bought it. From now on, passing by you, I will see only ants unworthy of my mention, and if one of you dares to harm me, the head of this person will remain without a body. Naruto spoke harshly, releasing a small part of his K for a split second. However, even that time was enough to make everyone feel the death that ran down their backs. We understood, brother. Aiko didn't finish, as Naruto interrupted her. Okay, I'm going to sleep. And Anne, Ria, tomorrow at 8 a.m. at the back of the house, Naruto said as she walked into the room. Okay. At the same time, Irea said, Dachshund, this is in addition to the previous part. And Irea were standing in a small clearing, waiting for Naruto. And not far from them, there is a team of 7 Kakashi at 8:30 in the morning, and he was outrageously snorting, walking around the clearing. Where the hell is Naruto? Yan shouted, hitting the trunk of a tree, which did not give way, and made Yan scream in pain. You have to have patience and Ria said. After her words, Naruto appeared in the clearing in shorts and a tight jacket, thanks to which Naruto's excellent form was visible, on which Rei, Aiko and Sasuke's attention was held, and the male half felt envy. Sorry I'm late. I haven't been feeling well lately, Naruto said, drawing attention to the audience. Did I invite extra looks? Can't we watch you practice? Aiko asked. No, it's not a secret, but you won't understand anything anyway, Naruto replied, approaching his teammates. And what kind of training will we have? Ian asked. First of all, lie down. I'll check your souls. Naruto replied quite calmly. All right, Yan said, lying down on the ground in front of Naruto. So did Irea. Sitting between them, Naruto placed his hand on their chests, starting to drain his energy into them. And Naruto, what are you doing? I didn't have time to finish the sentence, terribly reddened by Naruto Rita's actions, as I passed out. At Hokage's residence, Minato was reading a report sent by Kashana, which said everything that had happened since Team 8 arrived. Who are you, Naruto? Minato asked himself, not believing what was written in the scroll. He wanted to get back to work, but he was interrupted by a silhouette with white hair flying through the window. Jiraiya Shinsei, how long can we forget about such an invention as a door? A tired Minato asked. Shinobi don't need doors. Okay, enough jokes. The prophecy has changed. Elder Toad is constantly tormented by nightmares and predictions. His visions say that the Son of Lightning will save the world, first destroying it, and then bring it to rest, becoming a single ruler. Said Jiraiya, will my fears come true? Minato sighed, closing his eyes. What? Do you really know what's going on? Did something happen to Minma? Jiraiya shouted, slamming his palm on the table. Not with Minma, but with Naruto, Minato said softly, almost in a whisper, giving Jiraiya Kushana's report. Reading it, Jiraiya expressed bewilderment. Naruto, I remember this joyful child. He always wanted attention, which he did not get because of me, because I thought that Menma is to the children from the prophecy. I just assumed it, but I didn't expect Minato and Kushina to take it so seriously. It was obvious that one day he would become like that. Sanin thought, okay, as soon as he's in the village, let me know. I want to see it myself. Naruto appeared in the middle of the island, around which there was a large river, and not far from the edge there was a cherry blossom. I didn't think that the Lord himself would look in here, said some slug, crawling up to Naruto. You are the guardian spirit of this soul. So it is, I am the guardian of the soul and on, the slug replied. And where is John himself? Naruto asked. He's under a tree, Slime replied, nodding towards Sakura. Approaching Sakura, Naruto saw little Ina sitting under a tree with a sad look. What's the matter with you? Namikaze asked. My clan laughs at my weakness, though not because of evil, but I try so hard to be recognized. But I don't have the genius like my brothers and sisters. Uzumaki also replied sadly. I see. Listen, what's your goal? Naruto asked with a grin. I want to become strong and protect those who are dear to me and become the head of the clan. In shouted joyfully. Ha! You know, and you remind me of the old me. Great. I don't sense any malice in you. Therefore, I, the Lord of Naruto's souls, offer you Uzumaki and En to become my servant and make your dream come true with me, Naruto said, giving his hand to Inu, which he immediately accepted. After that, Naruto was thrown out of Ina's soul, and he found himself in some kind of library. Dachshund, where am I now? Naruto asked himself, surprisingly getting an answer. You are a Rainicron at heart. The girl with gray answered him. Hair with a beautiful face and a good figure. Are you the guardian of the soul? Naruto asked. It is I, the guardian of the soul, Ria, who am also the caretaker of this library, the girl replied. And where is she now? Naruto asked. She's in a department she's never been to or even applied to. Attention to his existence, the girl replied. And where? Naruto asked again. In the department with books about love. At first I didn't understand why she went there, but he looked at you and seemed to understand. Giggling, the girl replied. But I don't understand the course of yours at all. Their thoughts? Naruto replied, walking into the department that the girl pointed to. There he saw Ria completely covered, it seems, with books he had read, taking one and reading what was written on the cover. Signs of love. What are you doing? Naruto asked. This is unbelievable. Krista, I think I fell in love with Naruto. When I look at it, my mind is seized with panic, and my heart is beating at a tremendous speed. Not understanding who she was talking to, Ria replied, yeah, I haven't heard such a confession yet. Finally, having paid attention to the interlocutor, Ria turned blue at first, then turned pale, and then became very red. And Naruto shouted Ria, covering her face with the book she was reading. It's not what you thought, in general. Forget about what you heard. Yes, calm down, Naruto said, taking her by the shoulders and crouching down in front of her, looking into her face. To be honest, I also feel strange every time I look at you. I do not know exactly what this is about, but let's let everything take its course, and let fate decide whether we should be together or not. Naruto replied, averting his reddened face. But I'm so weak and useless compared to you, Ria said. Then follow me and become stronger as my servant, Naruto said, standing up and holding out his hand to Ria, which she gladly took.